Now we will see Class 12 Geography, Unit 5, Chapter 12, Geographical Perspective on Selected Issues and Problem, Part 3. Problems of slums. The concept urban or urban center is defined in the settlement of geography in differentiate it from the rural about which you have learned in some previous chapter of this book. You have also learned in the book entitled Fundamentals of Human Geography that this concept is defined differently in different countries. Both urban and rural settlements are different in their functions, sometimes complementing each other. Apart from these, rural and urban areas have also emerged into two separate cultural, social, political, and economic and technological divide. India, which has the predominance of rural population, approximately 69% of the total population in 2011, and where the villages were considered the ideal republics by Mahatma Gandhi, most of the rural areas are still poor performing primary activities. Here, the most of the villages exist an appendix to the core urban center forming its hinterland. This may give an impression that urban center exists an undifferentiated homogeneous entities in opposition to the rural areas. On the contrary, urban centers in India are more differentiated in terms of the socio-economic, politico-agricultural and other indicators of development than any other areas. At the top, there are farmhouses and high-income group localities characterized by well-developed urban infrastructures like wide roads, street lights, water and sanitation facilities, lawns, well-developed green belt, parks, playgrounds and provisions for individual security and right to privacy. At the other extreme of it are the slums, sluggish jobbery, clusters and colonies of the slanty structures. These are inhabited by those people who were forced to migrate from the rural areas to these urban centers in search of livelihood but could not afford a proper housing due to the high rent and high costs of land. They occupy environmentally incompatible and degraded areas. Slums are the residential areas of the least choices, dilapidated houses, poor hygienic conditions, and poor ventilations. A lack of basic amenities like drinking water, light and toilet facilities, etc. These areas are overcrowded, having a narrow street pattern prone to serious hazard from fire. Moreover, most of the slum population works in a low-paid, high-risk prone, unorganized sectors of the urban economy. Consequently, they are the undernourished, prone to different types of disease and illness, and can ill afford to give the proper education to their children. The poverty makes them vulnerable to drug abuse, alcoholism and crime, vandalism, escapism, apathy and ultimate social exclusion. Why are the children of slum dwellers deprived of the school education? Deprived of school education. Land degradations. The pressure on agricultural land increases not only due to the limited availability but also by the deteriorations of the quality of agricultural land. Soil erosion, waterlogging, salinations, and alkalinizations of land lead to the land degradations. What happens if land is consistently used without managing its fertility? Land is degraded and productivity of declines. Land degradation is generally understood either as the temporary or a permanent decline in productive capacity of the land. Though all degraded land may not be wasteland, but unchecked process of degradations may lead to conservation to wasteland. There are two processes that induce land degradations. These are the natural and created by human beings. National Remote Sensing Center (NRSC) has classified wastelands by using the remote sensing techniques, but it is possible to categorize these wastelands according to the processes that have created them. There are a few types of wastelands such as wooded or riverine land, desertic or coastal sands, barren rocky areas, steep sloping land, or the glacial areas, which are primarily caused by the natural agents. There are other types of degraded lands such as waterlogged and marshy areas, land affected by salinity and alkalinity, and land with or without scrub, which has largely been caused by natural as well as the human factors. There are some other types of wastelands such as degraded shifting cultivation area, degraded land under the plantation crops, degraded forest, degraded pastures, and mining and industrial wastelands are caused by human action. Table 12.3 indicates that the wasteland caused by human-made process are more important than the natural processes. Here they give Dharavi, Asia's largest slum. Buses nearly skirt the periphery. The auto rickshaws cannot go there. Dharavi is a part of the central Bombay where three-wheelers are banned. Only one main road traverses the slum, the miscalled 90-foot road, which has been reduced to less than half of the most of its length. Some of the sides, alleys and lanes are so narrow that not even a bicycle can pass. One toilet for 1,440 people at Dharavi. Even a bicycle can pass. The whole neighborhood consists of temporary buildings, 2 or 3 stairwayed high with rusty iron stairways to the upper part, where the single room is rented by a whole family, sometimes accommodating 12 or more people. It is a kind of tropical version of the industrial dwelling of Victorian land's East End. The Dharavi is the keeper of most summary secrets than the revolution inspired in the rich. A revolution, moreover, that is in direct proportion to the role it serves in the creation of wealth of Bombay. In this place of the shadowless, treeless sunlight, uncollected cabbage, stagnant pools of cool water, where the only non-human creatures are the shining black crows and long grey rats, and some of the most beautiful and valuable and useful articles in India are made. From Dharavi come delicate ceramics and potteries, exquisite embroidery and zari work, sophisticated leather goods, high fashion ornaments, finely wrought metalwork, delicate jewelry settings, wood carving and furniture that would find its way into the richest houses, both in India and abroad. Dharavi was an arm of the sea that was filled with waste and largely produced by the people who have come to live there, scheduled caste and poor Muslims. It comprises rambling buildings of corrugated metal 20 meters high in place, used for the treatment of hides and tanning. There are the pleasant parts, and but rotting cabbage is everywhere. Seabrook, 1996. Activity. Using informations provided in table 12.3, make a pie chart showing the cultivable wastelands caused by different processes. Table 12.3, classification of wasteland by the processes in India. Categories, percent of geographical area. Total wasteland 17.98, barren and uncultivated wasteland 2.18, natural degraded CWL 2.4, natural and man-made degraded CWL 7.51, man-made degraded CWL 5.88, total degraded CWL 15.8. Source, calculated from NRSA Wasteland Atlas 2000. A case study. Jhabua district is located in the westernmost agroclimatic zone in Madhya Pradesh. It is in fact one of the 5 most backward districts of the country. It is categorized by high concentration of tribal populations, mostly Bills. The people suffer due to the poverty which has been accentuated by the high rate of resource degradations, both forest and land. The watershed management programs funded by both the Ministry of Rural Development and Agriculture, Government of India have been successfully implemented in Jhabua district, which has gone a long way in preventing land degradations and improving the soil quality. Watershed management programs acknowledge the linkage between the land, the water and vegetation, and attempts to improve the livelihoods of the people through the natural resource management and community participation. In past 5 years, the programs funded by Ministry of Rural Development alone implemented by Rajiv Gandhi missions for watershed management has treated 20% of the total area under the Jhabua district. The Petlawad block of Jhabua is located in northernmost part of the district and represent an interesting and successful case of government, NGO partnership and community participation in managing the watershed programs. The bills in Petlawad block, for example, Sad Rundi helmet of Karavat village, through their own efforts have revitalized large parts of common property resources. Each household planted and maintained one tree on the common property. They also have planted a folder cross on the poison's land and adopted social fencing of these lands for at least 2 years. Even after that, they say there would be no open grazing on these lands, but stall feeding of cattle, and they are thus confident that the poisons they have developed would sustain their cattle in nature. One interesting aspect of this experience is that before the community embarked upon the process of management of the poisons, there was encroachment on this land by the villagers from an adjoining village. The villagers called the Tahsildar to ascertain the rights of the common land. The ensuing conflict was tackled by the villagers by offering to make them defaulters, encroaching on the CPR, a member of the users group, and sharing the benefits of greening the common lands or poissures. In bracket, see the section on CPR in chapter Land Resources and Agriculture. Here in figure 12.4, trees planted on common property resources in Java. Sources: Evaluation Report, Rajiv Gandhi Missions for Watershed Management, Government of Madhya Pradesh, 2002. Figure 12.2, Community Participation for Land Leveling in Common Property Resources in Java, ASA, 2004. Exercises 1. Choose the right answer of the following from the given options. 1. Which of the following river is highly polluted? Brahmaputra. 2. Satluj. C. Yamuna. D. Godavari. 2. Which one of the following diseases is caused by water pollutions? 1. Conjunctivitis, diarrhea, and C. Respiratory infections. D. Bronchitis. 3. Which one of the following is the cause of acid rain? A. Water pollution. B. Land pollution. C. Noise pollution. D. Air pollution. 4. Push and pull factors are responsible for A. Migration. B. Land degradation. C. Slums. D. Air pollution. 2. Answer the following questions in about 30 words. 1. What is the difference between the pollution and pollutants? 2. Describe the major sources of air pollution. 3. Mention the major problems associated with urban waste disposal in India. 4. What are the effects of air pollution on human health? 3. Answer the following questions in about 150 words. 1. Describe the nature of water pollution in India. 2. Describe the problems of slums in India. 3. Suggest the measures for reduction of land degradations. Thank you. Sharing is caring. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more knowledge.